In this video, I'm going to talk about how to pick up girls without being a misogynist pig. Now, the mainstream media has a very strong opinion about pickup artists, about these guys going out and trying to attract women. And that opinion is that those guys are misogynist pigs, that they are manipulative, they're using women, and they don't really care about anything but getting laid. And there's a degree of truth to that. There is more truth to that than I'd like there to be. Now, not everyone who coaches how to attract women or pick up is like that, but there are a lot of those kinds of concepts within this niche, within the industry as a whole. And I think it's important to be aware of that, because if you are exuding this win-lose mentality in the way you go about approaching women, then your relationships are going to struggle. They're going to hurt because of those, especially if you get in longer-term relationships, which most of the men watching these kind of videos end up doing. That's their long-term goal anyway. So the first thing that you have to be aware of is it's very important to be the first to make a move, but also the first to take a step back. Because here's the reality. Most women are not going to make the first move. Most women are not going to be the first one to lean in to kiss you. They're not going to be the one to approach you or to ask you out or any of those kinds of things. That's pretty rare. It's cool when it happens, but if you rely on it, your dating life is going to be very limited. So you do have to be able to make the first move. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. If the girl likes you, you're doing her a favor, right? It's a win-win kind of thing. You're enabling her to get something she wants. But if she doesn't like you, it's only bad if you keep pushing after you get the no, right? After she gives you resistance, you ignore it, act like it doesn't matter, and just go for the close no matter what. That's when it's a problem. And there's a concept in pickup called plowing that gets taught a lot. There's something called LMR busting, which is last minute resistance busting. Last minute resistance is when a girl is in bed with you, but she isn't quite ready to sleep with you. And so there's these techniques to like get past that, to push past that kind of aggressively. And the idea of plowing is that when a girl rejects you, just keep going. Just keep going until she rejects you 4-5 times. And the reason for doing these things is to build mental toughness. That's the idea behind it, like to not care about rejection. But you're kind of making the girl's day worse, right? It's not a win-win kind of situation when you do that. And the underlying mentality is kind of you're using the girl to get what you want. It doesn't matter what she wants. And I don't like that mentality. I don't think you should have that mentality. If you approach a girl and she gives you clear indications that she doesn't want to talk to you, she's not making eye contact, she's looking at her phone, stuff like that, tell her to have a nice day. You don't need to plow. And besides, when a girl is rejecting you, the chances are she's going to keep rejecting you. She's rejecting you for a reason. If she says she has a boyfriend, it's not a test, dude. She's saying she's not interested. Maybe she doesn't have a boyfriend, but she's just rejecting you because she's not interested. And occasionally, maybe 5% of the time, you could turn that around. But the other 95% of the time, you're just kind of being annoying and you're wasting your own time because she's already rejected you and she's going to keep rejecting you. You're doubling down on a bad hand of poker, which is not good in terms of getting results, but it's also just disrespectful. Right? There's no reason to do that. And it's going to make your mentality kind of negative in a way that it doesn't need to be. So look, if a girl says she has a boyfriend, say, okay, well, let him know that he has competition or he has good taste or something like that. Have a good day. Move on and leave it on a positive note. If a girl is giving you clear red lights, then take a step back. Ask her what she's feeling. Like, ask her, are you uncomfortable right now? Like, let her know that you care about how she feels and give her the opportunity to explain. And you might find out she's just nervous or overwhelmed or something, but she likes you. Or she might say, yeah, I'm just not really interested. And then you know to move on, right? That's a healthier way to go about it in my opinion. So that's the first side of avoiding being a misogynist pig. The second part to this is to always focus on offering value first. Focus on offering value first. So my goal, anytime I approach women, anytime I have any social interaction, is to make the other person's day better. That's my first and underlying goal. And that also means that I don't think the girl owes me anything. Because one of the biggest things men do that really frustrates women is an unhealthy type of entitlement where they think the girl owes them something. If a girl gives you her number and then she doesn't go on a date with you, then you get all pissed off. Why did she lie to me? Why did she lie to me by giving me her number and not going on a date? Maybe she gave you her number and she ended up meeting another guy she liked more the next day. Or maybe she just gave you her number to be polite because she didn't want to be rude by rejecting you to give her a number. You never know. And she doesn't owe you anything. And thinking she owes you something is gonna make you way less attractive anyway. That attitude of these girls owe me something because they went on a date with me, they gave me their number, or they smiled, or whatever, totally unattractive to women anyway. So not only is it a bad way to treat people, but it also is going to hurt your ability to get dates anyway. So I'm always focusing on offering value. How can I make their day better? And then if it turns out there's chemistry, if it turns out we have this feeling of attraction and she's giving me signs that she's interested, well then I'll ask for something, right? Then I'll ask for the date because I know it's a win-win, or at least I have reason to think it's going to be a win-win, as opposed to I'm just trying to get something from her. I'm just trying to get laid, right? Which is a very self-focused way of going about it. So I cut it off there for a second because it was really windy, but let's get back to the third point, which is to not mislead or manipulate women into thinking you want something you don't want in order to have sex with them. As an example, I had one friend who was on a date with a girl. He told her he loved her on the first date and she said it back, so really sad. And then he slept with her and never talked to her again. This is something that women have to deal with a lot, where guys act extremely romantic and like they want to be a boyfriend, but what they really wanted was to get laid. And they use that as a tactic to trick them, to lure them in to having sex with them. And that's, that's frustrating for women, understandably. And the thing is, a lot of women do want one-night stands. They have that side to their personality where that's something they like. But what they don't like is being misled into thinking you want a relationship when that isn't what you want. And that actually goes in the opposite direction as well. So if you're acting like you want to be a friend, and what you really want is a relationship, a sexual relationship, that's also a type of manipulation. You're doing it to win her favor, to get her to like you, to get her to trust you and invest in you. And then at some point, you're gonna make your move. Like tell her, I've loved you all this time. I'm really attracted to you. But you're doing it to protect your own ego. You're doing it to avoid rejection and because you think it'll let you trick her into dating you even though you're not good enough on your own, right? You're not attractive enough to just ask her out on a date and get her to say yes, so you're gonna go the long route. And that's another thing that is, can really mess with women, right? Like they think this guy is a friend for all this time and then really he just wanted something completely different. And that sucks, right? It sucks to lose a friendship that way because someone was being duplicitous. They were pretending they wanted one thing when they really wanted another thing. So be clear in your intentions. And like if you like a girl, if you're attracted to a girl, let her know that sooner rather than later. Like ask her on a date sooner rather than later. Tell her you think she's cute sooner rather than later. Make it clear that this is a man to woman or sexual type of interaction that you're having with her, that kind of relationship you want, and not a platonic relationship. And if you let her think that for more than a few weeks, well then at that point, just accept that that's all it's going to be and actually own that instead of tricking her into a relationship. So that's how to pick up women without being a misogynist pig. I don't think most men really are like misogynist pigs, at least not to the extent that the media makes it seem like we are. But there are certain habits and behaviors that Pickup Advice teaches us that have this very win-lose mentality where it's get laid no matter what, do whatever it takes, Glenn Ross, always be closing, that lacks empathy. And I think it's best to find a balance. Yes, you do need to be a closer. If you're not a closer, nothing's gonna happen. But you can be respectful about it, right? Make the move, and then notice if you get any hesitation, respect it, take a step back and find out what's going on as opposed to being pushy. And that goes for every step of an interaction. So I think having that mentality will make your relationships with women healthier. I hope you found this video to be helpful. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button. And by the way, click the link below to join my email list and get 3 chapters of my full-length book completely free.